banging starts at our front door. I know what is going on. I mean, what other reason could there be for someone to be slamming their fist against our front door at 2 a.m.? Other than our racist-ass neighbors already told us they want us deported so a nice white family can have our house. It's not fair. We're citizens. Mom was born in Texas and moved here for college when she met my dad. God rest his soul. Abuela has been in this country since she was 2 years old. My sister and I were both born at the same hospital downtown. I work at the local high school teaching history, and holy crap do our neighbors like to holler about that. They seem to think I'm indoctrinating the next generation into being woke libtards, whatever the fuck that means this week. I'm out of bed and in the hallway in a heartbeat. Mom's head appears in the hallway first, hair a mess, eyes bleary with sleep. She doesn't even ask who it is. She knows as well as I do. She just gives me a tight warning look that says, "Don't open it." Abuela shuffles in behind her, wrapped in her old green shawl that smells faintly of sage no matter how many times it's been washed. My sister hovers in her doorway in her pajamas, clutching her phone like it's a lifeline. Her camera's already on. The banging gets louder and more insistent.
Open the door! Law enforcement! This is a raid! We have been contacted. There is credible evidence there are illegals in this domicile. If you open the door, this will all go better for you.
My stomach flips. I glance at Mom. She continues to shake her head, mouthing, "We're citizens," but there's no pause between knocks. They're hitting the door like they're trying to shake the hinges loose. It's not like we haven't seen this coming. For months now, the news has been filled with phone footage of ICE raids in neighborhoods just like ours. Agents storming into homes in the dead of night, dragging people out in their socks, ignoring the screaming kids clutching at their parents. News anchors call them targeted operations when they report on them. But everyone knows they're nothing more than people scooping up anyone with skin darker than a vacation tan and taking them away. Our neighbors have been making little jokes for weeks about how we should keep our suitcases packed. One of them even told my mom outright that if she didn't go back to where she came from soon, someone would make sure she got the message. That lady really didn't like it when my mom replied that Atlanta was nice, but she preferred small town life to the big city. Then innocently asked, "Oh, is that not what you mean about me going back where I came from?" when the neighbor turned red. It was easier when Dad was alive. People still stared a little too long in the grocery store and still spoke to Mom like she was hard of hearing or didn't understand English, even though she has a freaking master's degree in English literature. They kept their real thoughts tucked behind tight smiles. Dad had that way about him. He was tall, broad-shouldered, always quick with a joke, and ginger as a Viking. He was the kind of man who helped shovel a neighbor's driveway before they could even ask. I liked him, or at least respected him enough to keep their mouths shut. But after the cancer took him, it was like a dam broke. The casserole dishes and condolences stopped within weeks, and nasty comments replaced them. Neighbors who once waved from their porches began making pointed remarks about property values and neighborhood safety. They no longer bothered to hide the sneer in their voices when they said our last name or comment on how Dad had taken Mom's surname instead of the proper way around. Without Dad standing in the doorway beside Mom, they seemed to feel braver, like they could finally say out loud what they'd been thinking all along. I teach a few kids of those neighbors, and I don't think it was coincidental that suddenly Mr. Morales became not the cool teacher who shares a name with Spider-Man, but someone to make threats against that if he doesn't give you an A+, you'll call ICE on him. And now this. The pounding rattles the picture frames on the wall. My sister starts to cry quietly. Mom tries to shush her. Abuela steps past Mom, moving with this strange calm that makes the hair on the back of my neck rise. She doesn't look scared, just focused.
"Go to the kitchen,"
she says to me without looking back.
"Top shelf of the pantry. Bring me the wooden box."
Abuela, no. I start to argue, but she cuts me off with a hiss.
"Now, mijo."
I sprint to the pantry, bare feet slipping on the cool tile, heart pounding so hard I feel like it's lodged in my throat. The thin strip of light from the hallway flickers as the pounding of the door rattles the whole house. My hands are trembling when I shove aside the bags of rice and cereal boxes, searching the top shelf. There, wedged between two dusty mason jars, half hidden under a faded tea towel, I find the box Abuela wants. I have to stand on my tiptoes to pull it free and nearly drop when I feel the unexpected weight. The lid is bound tight with a fraying red cord, the knot stiff and darkened with age, almost waxy to the touch. I put it down to adrenaline when my fingers tingle as I brush against it.
Open the door!
At the door, the pounding grows louder. Voices outside bark orders I can't quite make out over the rush of blood in my ears. I carry the box back upstairs to Abuela, every step feeling like I'm wading through molasses. When I place it in front of her, she lowers herself to the hallway floor without a sound. Her lips move in a whisper I don't recognize. This isn't any Spanish or English that I recognize. The hallway lights dim. The air presses in around us like a storm front. Mom and my sister huddle together, holding their hands to the sides of their heads. I swallow hard as a sharp pop echoes in my ears. I don't know how else to describe it except to say that the atmosphere shifts. Abuela smiles without showing her teeth and whispers something softer. From the shadows of the hallway, something begins to move. They slide along the walls like liquid shadow, vaguely human-like but bending at impossible angles. They are so tall that their effervescing limbs brush the ceiling and the walls at the same time. I feel the temperature drop, the air thick with a smell like burned sage and copper.
They're definitely home,
says the voice outside.
Neighbor who called it in said they're all home. It's time to kick in the door, guys.
Abuela doesn't even flinch. She tilts her head towards the things in the darkness.
Ve y cambiales la mente.
She says low and steady. A multi-layered voice answers from nowhere and everywhere at once. It sounds like her.
Sí, Bruja.
The front door bursts inward with a deafening crack, shards of the frame flying across the hallway. 3 men surge forward. Their faces are covered and they're just wearing jeans and t-shirts, not uniforms. Are they even official? They don't make it more than a single step past the doorway. The shadows whirl around the staircase and wrap around them. Their movements stutter, then freeze entirely, like puppets with their strings cut. Spidery black tendrils seep under their collars, coiling at their temples before slipping to their ears. Their eyes become glassy. Darkness eddies their pupils. In perfect unison, they lower their weapons. The 3 men stand unnaturally still, their heads tilting at the exact same angle, their breathing perfectly in sync. When the leader speaks, he sounds completely different than the eager, angry man who broke in.
Thank you, Bruja. These vessels are strong. We will use them well.
Abuela regards them with the same calm she's had all night, wrinkled fingers still resting lightly on the red cord of the box. The men nod as one, a jerky, inhuman motion.
No harm will come to your blood. We will now go and change the minds of those who threaten this house or this family. They will forget their hatred or learn to keep it buried deep.
The air hums with a strange energy, like the moment before lightning strikes. Then the men pivot in eerie unison, stepping carefully over the splintered wood of the doorway and out into the night.
There's nothing illegal in that house,
the leader says, ostensibly to the other men, but actually to the neighbors we can see twitching their curtains. So it was the lady who took offense at Mom's Texas comment who called this in. bitch. Abuela exhales softly.
Mija, close the door, please. It should still shut despite their violence.
Abuela directs my sister. When the door is shut and we are away from prying eyes, Abuela looks at me, eyes steady and calm. I swallow hard, still frozen where I stand. Abuela, what just happened? What did you do to them?
Those men came to take what is ours by blood and by law. We did nothing to them except exist. Should we be punished for that?
I mean, obviously no, but that doesn't...
Their hearts were heavy with darkness. They were not good people. They exulted in their cruelty. They wanted to hurt us. They enjoyed their purpose. I gave them new minds that will help instead of hurt.
She stares at me and I suddenly feel like I'm looking at a stranger instead of the woman who had helped raise me.
I protected my family.
I shake my head, confused and scared. But... what? You gave them new minds? What does that even mean? What were those shadowy things? What's that box? What? Abuela holds up a hand to silence me, her eyes softening just a fraction.
This box was given to me by my own abuela, your great-grandmother. She was a bruja back in Mexico, a woman who walked between worlds.
She pauses, her gaze distant, as if summoned up a memory from long ago.
I visited her on her deathbed. It was the first time I had ever met her. My parents were too afraid to leave America back then. They had sacrificed so much to bring me here, to make a better life for us, that they were prepared to never see their families ever again. But my abuela asked to see me specifically, so we went. My mother was so scared, and my father was so sad he only got to see his mommy again as she was dying. I remember, my abuela's house was filled with the scent of burning herbs and smoke. She had tchotchkes everywhere. I did not understand the significance back then. I did not understand what a bruja was. Before she passed, she entrusted me with this box, the knowledge to use it, and a solemn responsibility.
Abuela's eyes lock with mine, fierce and unwavering.
She made me promise that it would only be used to protect our family from anyone who would seek to harm it. Not to take vengeance and not to cause pain. Only to shield us when all else fails.
I swallow hard, feeling the weight of her words settle over me. So tonight, you used it to protect us. I stare at her, my mind spinning. Part of me wants to laugh it off. Shadows possessing people, ancient magic boxes, promises passed down through generations. It all sounds like something out of a story, not real life. But the look in Abuela's eyes makes my disbelief falter. She has never lied to me before. What if it is true? What if this box, this power, is real? Protecting the family, carrying a legacy I never asked for. It is a terrifying yet strangely comforting thought. Abuela reaches out, her hand warm on my shoulder.
You don't have to be ready yet. But when the time comes, you'll know. And I will be there to guide you.
For the first time tonight, I allow myself to believe fully that she's telling the truth. In the days that follow, we settle into our new normal. Our shattered front doors repaired, the neighbors' thin smiles fade into pouty scowls at being thwarted. Word spreads fast that their plan to get us out failed. I catch glimpses of them whispering in the street, eyes burning with frustration and anger that their threats and intimidation meant nothing to us. Then, one afternoon, a squad car pulls up in front of the house of the lady who called us in. Officers step out, stern-faced, explaining they've received reports about false alarms and wasted police resources. She ends up screaming about her rights and takes a swing at a policeman. I watch from the front porch as she is handcuffed and stuffed into the back of a cop car. Yeah, how does it feel when the system isn't on your side? bitch. The tension of the neighborhood tightens like a coil, but inside our home there's a new sense of safety. We don't feel scared all the time now. We don't cringe and act like we don't belong, even though we absolutely do. Because we know we're protected now. I sit beside Abuela one evening, the soft glow of the kitchen light illuminating the jigsaw puzzle she's working on. It's a bit more domestic than I think suits this conversation, but I have to ask her something that has been playing on my mind. Abuela, I say quietly, can we make more special boxes? For the families like ours, people who are innocent but still live in fear. She looks at me, a sad smile curling her lips.
It is possible, mijo, but also not. It takes the power of at least 3 brujas or more to make a single box. It is not an easy task.
But if we're going to inherit the box someday, doesn't that make us brujas?
Not quite. Though admittedly our bloodline does run to that, but there is more to it than simply sangre. Still, I suppose it could be possible.
My mom and little sister both look up. They meet my eyes. We don't have to say out loud what we're all thinking. Abuela nods, eyes shining with pride and something fierce. I lean back, feeling a fire rise in my chest. So to anyone out there who thinks they can weaponize the system to spread your hate and tear families apart, just because of your own prejudice, just know that you're playing with forces you don't understand. We are watching. We are protected, and we are protecting. And we will fight back in ways you will never see coming.